Now for our feature story of the day, Strategy's Mikey Saylor says Bitcoin to hit 13 million by this particular date and will replace cash and gold. And that's right. Let's break it down. The latest interview from Coin Stories with Natalie Brunell. Shout out to the baddie. So yeah, in a chat with Natalie Brunell, MicroStrategy's Mikey Saylor, and obviously the company rebranded to Strategy B, made a bold prediction. He sees Bitcoin hitting 13 million per coin by the year 25, which ultimately means within the next 2 decades. Why? He believes we're moving into a new financial era where Bitcoin replaces the old school reserves like assets such as cash, gold, and bonds as the go-to store of value for the companies. Saylor believes the cost of ignoring Bitcoin today will be immense. Quoting him here, every Bitcoin that you don't buy is a $13 million cost. And that Ferrari that you're going to buy is going to cost you like 6 Bitcoin. So it's going to be a $100 million Ferrari, right? If you look at it out 20 years. And that's a great perspective because I doubt you're going to want to spend any Bitcoin if you have the long-term perspective, right? It's like, why would you buy a Ferrari today and end up paying $100 million for that stupid car, which is only going to depreciate, right? MicroStrategy, known for holding more Bitcoin than any other publicly traded company, that's a fact, has become the poster child for the strategy. We call it the Saylor put. And Saylor says smaller, less known companies are the ones leading the new wave, and they now have like over 555,000 Bitcoin. And MicroStrategy was the first publicly traded company to put a biddy on the balance sheet back in 2020. So it took them 5 years to accumulate 555,000 Bitcoin. To put some perspective how fast Wall Street and the ETFs like BlackRock are accumulating pretty little biddy, they have over 600,000 Bitcoin, and ETFs just went live last year. So they're outpacing the Giga Chad by a factor of 5x. Let that sink in. Supply shock, 13 million per coin. You already know. So with about 12,000 publicly companies in the U.S., many mid-sized firms are struggling to stay relevant. And according to Saylor, adopting Bitcoin allows them to digitally transform the balance sheet, boost their investor confidence, and reposition themselves into the market. Quoting him again, zombie companies with little attention to the market are now challenging the tech giants like Google and Apple, not by innovation alone, but by making the Bitcoin a part of their corporate identity. Example, MetaPlanet, the Japanese version of the MicroStrategy, recently adopted the biddy, and they already have a massive accumulation. Their goal is 10,000 Bitcoin before the end of the year. They're more than halfway there. Their goal, 21,000 Bitcoin by the end of next year. Why 21 million Bitcoin can ever only be in existence? So you already know. It's a blackjack, baby. Saylor believes traditional corporate financial practices like stock buybacks and cash dividends are becoming outdated. So old school. Now, the conventional corporate finance playbook is cash is trash, and cash underperforms the S&P index, and so the S&P index is the cost of capital, he says. And instead, he encourages companies to hodl the biddy, describing it as the reserve asset emerging in the 21st century. Quoting him here, Bitcoin offers one more collateral advantage, which is the more uncertain the operating world gets, the more valuable Bitcoin becomes, Saylor said, noting its ability to build the long-term value and weather the crisis like the trade wars, the tariffs, or the inflation. And quoting Chandy, you can't tariff the Bitcoin. Shut out, can't tariff Bitcoin. Saylor didn't just speak to the corporate leaders. He also gave advice to everyday investors. His message, hold your job, save your cash, and buy the biddy. He recommends using long-term, low-interest mortgage debt to free us capital instead of spending on luxuries or paying off homes too early. Quoting him here, if Bitcoin is growing 30% a year and your mortgage is fixed at 3%, you're better off investing than paying it off early. So he's ultimately saying, buy as much Bitcoin as you can now. It's better to have a long-term 15 or 30-year mortgage where you're paying a little bit every month, even though over the long haul it's a lot. Bitcoin's appreciation will more than make up for it. So it's a smarter play, according to the Giga Chad. MicroStrategy isn't just holding the biddy, it's building new ways for people to access it. Saylor introduced 2 new financial products. Number 1, we got Strife, a preferred stock offering paying a 10% dividend forever. It's perpetual, over-collateralized by Bitcoin, designed for investors seeking income and safety. And also Strike, it offers an 8% coupon with some downside protection and 35 to 40% of the upside of the common equity. Ideal for those wanting Bitcoin exposure with less volatility. Saylor also floated the concept of the Bitcoin-backed bonds or the biddy bonds. These could eventually become tools for nations, such as the United States. You listening, Trump? And corporations. Are you listening, Apple? Are you listening? What are the other ones out there? We got Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet, of course, which is Google. We have that one big stock company play that just is raised $1.5 billion. GameStop is the one I'm looking for. Bold leadership is gaining traction, and while the cabinet officials have started speaking favorably about Biddy, and the U.S. has even established a strategic Bitcoin reserve thanks to the Trumpster, Saylor is not surprised that the government hasn't bought any yet. I generally expect that large governments will move in a plodding, somewhat methodic, not always rational fashion, hence why we're seeing the Biddy adoption in the state level, such as New Hampshire, the first state to establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve as the game theory continues in full effect. Bitcoin's resilience and the MicroStrategy surge, Saylor remains unfazed. No pain, no gain in the Biddy game. For the macro panic, Bitcoin is the only thing that you can sell, and you can sell it short with 50x leverage on a Saturday morning, highlighting its liquidity even in volatile markets. Bitcoin tends to recover and rally. That's right. He pointed to the 2020 Novid crash when Bitcoin dipped to 4,000, but bounced back even stronger. That's right. And within 1 year, the following year, it was 60,000 within a 12-month spread. And if you don't know now, you know. Let me know your thoughts with a $13 million Biddy. And I'll read your comments out loud. Welcome everyone to the Q&A segment of the live stream.